Super Gamecast 64, episode 66. Today on the show, we're talking about remasters, reboots, remakes, and what makes them tick. Anyone want to cue that DJ? DJ. Hey guys, welcome to Super Gamecast 64, episode 66. I'm your host, Matt.
I'm Kevin.
I was Tyler yesterday.
Who are you now?
Tyler still.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's good to keep
wrong.
things the same, but at the same time, sometimes it's good to shake it up. And our industry, they like to pretend that they're shaking it up a lot of times.
Are you perhaps, better than you were yesterday? Like, maybe you would say you're remastered?
I'm a better Tyler than I was yesterday.
Have you
that's for damn
upscaled yourself?
Sure.
Up-res.
This is definitely an up-res.
That's
a shaved.
Oh.
So, if you are new to the show by any means, or this is our first themed show.
Yeah.
So this is setting a bar of what you guys can expect. Not all of them are going to be hour 30. Some of them might be 20 minutes. Depends on what we got prepared.
Depends on what we feel like doing.
Today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit in the first portion of the show just about what we think remasters are and, some open shop talk. And then in the last half of the show, we're going to go over some specific remasters, reboots, and remakes and figure out if they're good, bad, ugly, or anywhere in between. So if you're a fan of episode 64's musicality, there will be a lot of that in the second half of the show after the break. So, without further ado, my friends.
Without further dudes.
That was a phone vibrating on the table. Don't
Whoops.
worry about it. Also, we forgot to introduce Kala, the studio dog, in case she makes any sort of noise.
Yeah?
Or not.
Now you're going to be shy?
All right,
Okay.
so, my first question I have for you guys. We're going to start open forum, and I'm going to go to Tyler first with this one.
Yes, it was one time, and it was in grade school. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, we don't have to, but if you ever want to...
Not that question.
No. That's for a different episode. This one is... What's the difference between a port and a remaster, in your opinion? If you were to look at a game side by side, a port versus a remaster, what's the difference in your opinion? When you expect, if you hear, I'm getting a port of a N64 game on a new console versus a company saying, I'm remastering this N64 game, when you put a remaster in, what do you expect?
Ow. Okay, you're hurting me with. Okay, so a remaster would assume that the controls or the content have been shifted somehow, but it's mostly the same?
Yeah, I'm with you on that too. Kevin, what do you think?
Generally speaking, port is left, and starboard is to the right.
What about the bridge, though?
The bridge is
We're
the
coming up
place
to that.
where Captain Kirk sits.
Take me to the bridge.
Anyway,
Bravely going where no men have gone before, except for a few times a seasons ago.
The difference between a port and a remaster to me is that a port is essentially the same game, just redone.
Yeah, just moved over
on
to
a new
system.
console. Right. And whereas a remaster, I'm going to piggyback on what Tyler said, you change something fundamental about the game, and obviously, you're trying to make it more fun, but still, appease that nostalgia bone that everybody's got. So
I think what we've... And I'm just to say my piece, that's the same thing. When I hear a port, I hear, okay, it's a port. I'm not getting anything new. It's just I can play this on this newer device. When I hear remaster, once again, I think they have to be something fundamentally changed. Doesn't mean it has to have a graphical overhaul. Doesn't mean it has to have crazy new controls. But if they're remastering it, it gives a sort of they've spent time on it. It was something they've done. It wasn't just a simple, move the code over. So something has to be modified to bring it into, the new era or to remind us of something like director's commentary. And we'll get into stuff like that. But I think we can all agree on the definition that a remaster should have something fundamentally different than the first game.
And is a great reason for them to charge you a butt ton of money for a game you already own.
Especially lately.
I would only pay $40 for a brand new remaster.
And that brings me to... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's okay. The other thing is, for somebody like me who didn't play a lot of the original games, it's an opportunity to approach the IP at a different level.
We will get into that in a little bit, but let me just throw this impromptu question out here. If it's a game that is touted as a remaster and it simply has graphical upscaling and that's it, what do you expect to pay in 2016? Let's say it's a 360. Let's go back. Let's say it's a PlayStation 2 original Xbox game, and all they've done is up-resed it from the original native 480 or whatever the hell it was to 720 or 1080. Not necessarily even FPS 60 lock. We don't see that all the time. With like Dead Rising collection, yeah, you saw a 1080i, a 60 FPS lock, but a lot of remasters don't even necessarily tote a higher FPS. So what would you pay for an Xbox game that is being remade for Xbox One? If it was just a graphical remaster, I'm not talking about an overhaul of the textures, I'm talking about an upscale.
An upscale.
Upscale. Or, well, okay, so not an upscale, but like it's got a new fresh coat of paint. You know, when you look at something like BioShock, the collection, it's not, they didn't redo the textures, but they've obviously put it through some post-processing to make it shine better. They've added some filters on it, whatever they've done.
A lot more anti-aliasing.
Yeah. So there's that kind of care into it. I'm not talking about just like, the corners aren't as jaggy. Because that is very much a port, in my opinion. You have to upscale in order to make a port not look like shit. So let's just say that. For a little bit prettier textures, but nothing else has changed.
So the game in itself is the same game.
Same game, no extra content.
And you're going from Xbox to Xbox One, just making it prettier.
Yes.
Same controls, same controller, essentially.
Yeah.
And you're just making it work. It's a port with an up-res.
Yeah, so...
$40.
40?
If it were that simple in terms of what sort of hardware was increased, I'd pay 20 to 30.
Yeah. And that's the question that, because you see things with like Resident Evil that we'll get into later, that's a $20 port versus Resident Evil 5 is like a $50 port. Continue.
Really, I just wanted to get to get a general number on it. It's more of what the game is in itself.
That's true. If it's like Skyrim remastered or something like that, obviously that's worth a little bit more bang for your buck because as a game, when that game came out, it was worth more than $60 in my opinion.
That's true.
But if we're taking a first-person shooter that's like 6 hours long, like Call of Duty Remastered, in that opinion, I don't think we pay $60, which Call of Duty Remastered is, I believe, $40. But I feel like we all sit around the same thing. So $40 is where we're sitting on that?
I would sit at 40. I mean, Kevin...
I'd sit at
40 is the highest I would go.
Free.
Free?
Free 50.
Free 50? Well, in a perfect world, all the games are free. But you have to kind of... You kind of have to put in some work before you get to that point.
Take your Xbox copy to the GameStop. Give them that copy. They give you the new copy for free.
Now, we've talked about this a little bit. We talked about this a little bit with the fact that it's hard to differentiate between a reboot, a remaster, a remake. Remakes and reboots are obviously a little bit easier to retell. But this goes back to Kevin with that hungry money. So you see these CEOs and execs, I like to imagine they're sitting around a big oval, table with their suits on.
How do we kill Superman?
Yeah, exactly. Very Lex Luthor.
We need to boost sales in the fourth quarter. Johnson, what's your ideas?
Oh, shit, just take Sonic 06 out. No, throw Sonic Generations in there. Sonic Double Pack, 2007. Sega!
Johnson, looks like your family's eating on Thanksgiving.
$20,000 bonus. You're the best person at Sega. So, Kevin, you brought up the fact that even a simple up-res, or not simple up-res, but going over textures and adding post-processing takes a lot of time. A lot of people think, or a lot of casual gamers would like to fry people or fry developers for simply re-releasing games. And I do agree in that aspect, you don't want to flood the market.
Well, and I also agree that developers taste way better fried.
Oh, absolutely. Have you ever had a soft-boiled developer? Very tender.
Creamy.
Well, it depends on where it's from.
A little soft in the middle.
Tastes cleaner, honestly.
Definitely tastes cleaner. So if they're putting in all this work, and obviously they're trying to push a brand or push a game that has since passed its hot days, what we could say, do you think that all remasters should just be remakes?
No, because I think they're still trying to... I think that breaks more away from technical and more into narrative. The idea behind it is to allow people to re-experience a game or experience it for the first time with a fresh coat of paint, as you said.
Well, now here's the thing, is that I think you're confusing a reboot and a remake. Now, a remake would be the same game. So let's say BioShock was a remake. It would be the same game, the same dialogue, the same structure of the game, but you would have a complete system overhaul brand new graphics that look 2016 representable. You might have switched up a little bit of how like the plasmid wheels work. So a remake, it's still the same game, and it has a fresh coat of paint, but it's a 10-year fresh coat of paint versus like this could have been played on a last gen 360.
And you're calling that what?
I'm calling that a remake.
You're calling that a remake.
Like
okay.
look at Resident Evil for the GameCube, the original Resident Evil. I don't know if you guys have played, but what that was the same exact game, but they completely redid all the character models, textures, and game design to fit the tone of the current Resident Evil games, which at that point were, I think, Resident Evil 3. You kind of see that stuff with Pokemon, and we'll get into that later. But that's, in my opinion, is a remake. Something that takes the same game story structure and gameplay, but puts a new system on top of it so it feels fresh. It comes into this point is you go back a lot of times and you're like, this game feels clunky to play. Mm-hmm. But if you get a remake that's good, they know how to adjust that to the current control standard.
Well, that's an interesting point because, in today's industry, they have improved upon old systems that were acceptable back then, but now we've come to expect something different or new, and we experience these old systems, as you said, clunky and unwieldy, whereas before it was, we didn't know any better.
Well, and therein lies the standard difference between, do you want to go back and play an old game and be reminded of everything that's everything about it, or do you want to play a game that will consistently keep up the rose-tinted glasses of nostalgia, because every time you play it, it's updated to modern-day standards. Going back, I don't want to play Mega Man 2 as a remake. I would like to play Mega Man 2 as it was originally intended.
I'm not
saying, no, Mega Man 2's never been remade.
No. Just like you can't, well, you can.
It's okay. Work through it. Tell me about your problems.
All right, so you know how...
Yeah.
Go lay on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Where's the pillow?
Right here.
All right, I really need to talk about these problems.
Tell me, Tyler. Well, how do these problems make you feel?
I think that when they changed Mega Man on NES to Super NES...
Just a little blue boy, now up onto a whole new platform.
And they made him all 16-bit. He looked good. He had a face. He looked from left to right sometimes. He blinks.
Are you body-shaming Mega Boy?
No.
Okay, well, it's all right.
Not at all.
I'm just trying to see into your psyche.
Little.
It's all right. So...
Oh, I need help.
Did you like original... Are you saying that you like old Mega Man Boy, Rock Boy?
That's not what I'm getting at.
Are you afraid of change?
Doc! Lest we get back into more Mega Man talk, for the love of God.
So we'll skip over Mega Man, but that's... So just give me a yes or no. A solid yes or no. Should all remasters be remakes? Kevin?
No.
Tyler?
Not necessary.
I believe that... all remakes should be remasters. All remasters should be remakes, and all reboots should be thrown in the trash. That's a lie. I don't believe any of that. But we will definitely continue on with our questions, because I see already that we got some...
Well, let me pose a question to you, Mr. Question Asker.
Yeah, I like some give and take.
How many remakes and reboots and all of that is acceptable as filler for a dev studio that hasn't put out new content in a certain amount of time?
Talking about Capcom?
Flat out. Right back to it.
Well, and that's the thing, too, is it's kind of like that... I don't want to get too deep into it, because I'm sure we'll have another show about it, but you have something like Nintendo that relies purely off nostalgia. Even their new games, like their new Super Mario Brothers, are very much... You could even consider them almost reboots each time of the same franchise. Tyler over there, he hurt his leg when he was thinking about...
Hurt myself so good.
It was interesting, like his face turned really red and all of a sudden just a hole popped out of his leg and blood started flowing out.
That's good. That's good. It's very good.
So we got blood. I know we've got tears.
This is
We're
definitely
just looking for sweat.
an M-rated...
M-rated show.
M-rated show.
Blood and gore, intense violence.
We just need sweat.
Suggestive themes. Well, if you put me and you in a room with, 82 degrees for more than an hour, you get some sweat too.
Yeah, if it wasn't, a nice, cool
75 degrees.
75 in here.
So,
Ooh, lad, we'd be sweating.
We got a lot of buzzing going on. See, our Twitter's been blowing
We're
up.
also really popular people in general, so, it's...
This is a great time to plug the Twitter. If you want to stay up to date on news and cool polls, if you want to have a talk or a thing to say about the show and you want your opinion to matter on the show.
And the occasional shit post?
Yeah, then follow us at SuperGamecast64. That's, once again, at SuperGamecast64. It'll be in the show notes and at the end of the show with all of our Twitters. So I believe that a company should be able to handle new ideas and new content more so than remakes. If I see more remakes, reboots, or remasters in a calendar year than new IPs, depending on the company, I'm a little bit disappointed. It's that whole entire Hollywood thing of let's get new ideas instead of having Die Hard 5, let's stop resetting everything. There's fresh ideas out there. And that's why you see a lot of push towards indie games over mainstream AAA. Because a lot of the fresh IP stuff you see is coming out of indie games. And I think we'll do a whole other show about just independent games. So we'll save that for another day. What do you think, Tyler? About the same? You think a company should have more new IPs? You got excited for Recore.
I did get excited for Recore, and then I watched you play it, and I'm like, ugh.
But that's against the point. The thing is, do you find yourself more interested in a new IP, a fresh take, or a game that you once loved being re-released for a system? Because at any given point, as long as you own it, you can go back and plug that in. It's remakes and remasters. I would say remasters and ports are a convenience thing. 100% a convenience thing. It's making things work with new televisions, not having to pull stuff out of the attic, et cetera, et cetera.
Say new televisions?
Well, if you're going...
hazelnut and chocolate?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's a terrible noise on air. No, I'm just saying CRTs and are different from LEDs. And if go try and play an N64, just plug those red, white, and yellows right into an HD TV and watch your eyes just bleed out of your sockets. It's so hard. Yeah, Tyler?
I've never done that before. I didn't actually know that was a thing.
Let's move on because I feel like this has become the same question. Kevin was very good about transitioning to this question. Are reboots, remakes, and remasters good for the industry or bad? And here's the two pillars of this. We have a game series that someone who's younger may not have played, and it's pulling that franchise back into the public eye. But at the same time, like Kevin said, you have this problem where companies start preferring that over new ideas, and that stalls an industry's progression, I would say. Whoever wants to take it first. Tyler?
I would say there are two ways to bring out your reboot, remaster, remake thing.
Yeah.
There's you're known for one thing. You haven't brought anything out for a while.
Yeah.
And you bring out a remake of your great old game. And then to get back into the eye, and then you put out your new thing.
It's a great marketing tool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The other on the other side is what you were saying. This is all they're doing is
Capcom in it.
They're Capcomming it, and that's
we'll get into that later.
But you got great ideas that everyone liked 10 years ago, and now 5 years ago, and now like last year. Come on.
Yeah, we saw that a lot in the jump from late 360 to early Xbox One.
Mm-hmm.
Tomb Raider, definitive. Dishonored, definitive. A lot of definitive blah, blah, blah. We'll get to some of those later, but they were honestly just ports that were disguised as GOTYs, Game of the Year editions, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why on this list you'll see later, there's not a whole lot of definitive or Game of the Year editions, because Game of the Year editions, in my opinion, are solid. They're always all the DLC for the same price as the original game was, and that's cool in my book.
I like that, yeah.
I have a problem when they charge the same amount of price for the same exact game just on a new system. Tyler, you had something to say?
Yeah, would this be a good time to bring up the definitive edition versus this, like the label definitive edition versus HD, or do you want to talk about that later?
You know what? I think that's a good. Kevin, did you have anything before we jump into that? That's a good question. Kevin, do you have anything? Once again, do you think reboots, remakes, and remasters are good for the industry or bad in general?
It's kind of a double-edged sword. I'm going to jump off of what you said.
One of those catch 69s?
Yeah, it's a catch 42. And basically, when companies start...
Tyler was attempting to find another catch some two numbers as a joke.
I couldn't number.
Catch 64? Oh, it's a good
Catch 66? Right, episode. Never mind. Anyway, the reality of it is it's easy money for them.
What is it in video games, honestly?
I mean, truly, but it's so much easier to devote the resources to up-res a game and release it as a remaster or whatever extent the work that is put into these games that are released is unarguably less than creating a new game.
Well, and that's something that I want to say is that therein lies the inherent evil, or not evil, but therein lies the inherent problem of favoring remakes, reboots over new IPs, is then you see companies that go, we would rather throw X million at an established franchise or an old game and make it a little bit better versus taking a maybe less X million dollar risk, but add a new story. And as a gamer who's been playing games for the past 22 years, I would like to see new stuff. I don't like to see the same thing redone over and over. And in my opinion, if you're going to go back to a franchise, you might as well make a sequel.
See, you and I are very different on that
True.
aspect. And I wear rose-tinted goggles every day.
Yeah.
And that's just what I prefer.
But it's not a bad,
to go back to that.
But it's not a bad life to live, because in our heyday, and we could agree universally, games at 10, 11, 12, 13 years old versus games at 18 versus games now 25 going into 30s, very different whole perspective that you take. There's jovial kind of like excitement when you're playing a game as a preteen or a child. Whereas now, even if we really enjoy the game, we're looking at it from this is how much time it's going to take me. There's a whole lot of other things going on. So by no means is living your gaming life with rose-tinted goggles a bad thing to do. Because you play enough fresh content and new stuff anyways to supply, that new bug. You want to get them new games. What was the question you asked before we went on onto this? Because I'm not remembering.
So I want to know what the difference, the definitive edition, the HD.
So let me just pop this out here.
3D.
Let me just pop this out here. We have what are called buzzwords. Now, if you look at it, there's three main words that are accepted. HD, or remaster, reboot.
And the third one, you won't believe.
Click next on this. Oh, hot new singles in your area. Do you need all your rice needs? XXXX pop-up ad. Warning. Your computer hard drive will evacuate in 5 minutes if you don't call this toll-free number. I'm just Xing. I don't even care what the third one is. That's how I am on the internet every fucking day, dude. All this shit post, I'm over it. Number 3 is a remake, I believe. Remaster, reboot, and remake. Also, my chest hair. That's a joke from episode 65. If you haven't heard that episode, go back, watch 65, and then go back, watch 64.
Go watch them.
Go watch them with your ear holes. You have to listen to them. Or if you want to go on YouTube, you can watch.
Go watch. I was going to say that.
But we have been posting things on our YouTube, full episodes. So if you're not listening to us through iTunes or Stitcher, maybe if you're listening to us through YouTube, drop a comment, like, subscribe, whatever the hell you want to do. So I think we have those three. Remaster, reboot, remake. Mm-hmm. When you look at a reboot, you know what a reboot is. When you look at a remake, at least you know what a remake is. Now, remaster, I feel like you have all these subsects. Like The Collection, HD, Remastered, Anniversary, Definitive.
Anniversary HD Collection.
Yeah.
Definitive Edition.
So all of these things are buzzwords, but the problem is there's no industry standard. Like Kevin brought up a good point earlier. Has Nintendo ever labeled anything as a remaster?
Yeah, just give Kevin the credit.
Was that you who said that? Regardless, one of us said it, and that was a very good point, is that, like, has Nintendo ever labeled anything as a remaster?
I got one.
What?
Okay, it's not labeled as a remaster, but Super Mario All-Stars.
Ooh, but that's a collection.
Right.
It is a collection.
You know,
I don't think remasters existed back then.
No. Wait, you have a very good point. Because Super Mario All-Stars, also, Super Mario 1 and 2 had different textures. Technically, at that point, it was like... it was a remaster. So they didn't call it a remaster, but they were doing it. Yeah, you're just now remembering that there's a difference between Mario 1 and Mario 2 on original systems versus I like the All-Stars version.
I totally forgot that was a thing.
Yeah, so before we go into specific games, great poll, Kevin.
Thanks.
Let's just go ahead and let's just identify this. From a buzzword, let's run through that again. You have HD, Remaster, Definitive, Anniversary, Collection. Out of those 5, as a consumer, what would you be most willing to grab based on box alone? If you saw...
Oh. Go ahead.
Just shoot out like one of your favorite series.
Series?
Oh, let's just say Mega Man. If you saw Mega Man...
let's go with Mega Man.
Okay. If you saw something called Mega Man Remastered, and you saw Mega Man Legacy Collection, because that's an actual game.
Right.
And then you saw Mega Man Anniversary Collection, or Anniversary Edition. Which of those 3 would you buy if you could not look at any gameplay? And they're all the same price.
And what are the...
Legacy Collection, Anniversary, and Remaster.
I would buy them all.
You can't. You only have enough money because your paper route was cut short by a grisly murder on the court. Oh, God.
Yikes.
We almost crossed podcasts there.
Oh, man. Okay, so... do I at least know which one has Mega Man 3 in it?
Okay, see, I guess maybe I shouldn't have picked up. But your frustration is the exact point as to why all of this is semantics and bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
It doesn't tell us anything. They're just buzzwords, and honestly, sometimes you see this a lot. Kevin, did you have anything to input on that?
No, I'm good.
Yeah. And that was the last episode Kevin was on. No. Okay, Kevin. So what would you, if you were in that same mistake situation?
If I were in that same situation, I find myself buying Game of the Year editions a lot because
that wasn't even a fucking option.
Well, but yeah, arguably it's the same concept, but reasonably speaking, the idea that it includes all the DLC and all those other things, it's very appealing.
And go ahead, Simon.
But you would buy the Game of the Year edition first. Like, you would never have played the original.
Typically,
you would wait until the Game of the Year edition came out and then buy it.
Yeah, that's the difference between somebody who's a big fan of the series who wants all the different boxes versus,
right.
But that's something that I want to bring up is oh shit, it just left me. It's okay.
Sorry.
No, it's completely fine. In my opinion, when it comes to that, if I was forced, I would probably buy a collection because at least at that point I know I'm getting a bang for your buck. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Kevin and Tyler's frustration is exacerbated by the fact that oftentimes you hear this consistently. Consistently at E3, TGS, Tokyo Game Show, once again, Gamescom, big things like this, PAX. You see a developer or an old developer you haven't seen in a while come out and go, they'll just put up a title like Resident Evil or Mega Man or just singular titles, no subtitles. And then people go, "Oh, but what? Is it a remake? Is it a remaster, a reboot? Is it just a port? What the hell is it?" Because there's nothing there's so much reliance on a developer or a publisher to tell you what you're getting, and since there's no industry standard, that therein lies the problem with definitive HD remasters. Collections are their own thing. I'm okay with collections as a title or as a qualifier.
And to answer your question from before, I would probably buy the collection as well.
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm sitting. Okay, before we get into the actual games as we come up on this 30-minute.
Wow,
we got one last question. I think this is going to truly give us our opinion, guys. What makes a good remaster? You purchase a game. Let's just say whatever it is. You purchase a game. It's something you've played before on an older system. You're now buying the remastered version. In your clearest words, or as best as you can visualize it, what would be the best version of a remaster of that game? When you turn it on, what do you want to see?
Yeah, Kevin, what do you want to see?
What do you want to see, Kevin? You haven't been talking a whole lot. You were just staring at your phone. I hope you're tweeting at all of our fans, Kevin.
I am actually looking at our Twitter.
That's good.
You smart aleck.
No, it wasn't smart aleckness. That was just me trying to add some tensity to the show. We've been agreeing a lot, and I want there to be fights.
Tensity?
Do
we need the...
Out-tensity.
Do we need the millionaire music?
No. Oh, God. Oh, no. Not the millionaire music again. We'll do that. We'll hold that for 10 words.
We won't do it.
We'll hold that for the 10-word segments. No, Kevin, do you what when you turn on a remaster, and if it's a game that you love, what do you hope to see? What's one of the favorite games you play when you're... Okay, so Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yes.
There comes out a remaster.
Yes.
What do you want to see? What is a perfect remaster of that game in your opinion?
Honestly, that game to me is so good at its core that I would like to see... maybe better quality music, better graphics. It would be interesting if they added new mechanics to the enemies that fit their characterization.
So you don't want, I think the whole thing we're getting to this is that you don't just want the same game.
Right.
You want something changed that fits with the style and the tone of the game.
Logically speaking, if I'm spending money on a game that I already have or can access at a very, very low cost, there has to be some draw. There has to be something other than just, it can't just be plastic surgery. It has to be an entire character overhaul.
And I think that's what a lot of the companies rely on now, is that you just have the nostalgia, you see the name, and you grab it because it's convenience, and sure, I just had a bonus at work, I have $40 to spend, because it's the fact that if you wanted to play the old game, you might have to go down the basement and see some spiders and get, oh, icky, oh no, it's Halloween, spooky!
Well, and
there's
something to be said for it to be on a system that you already are playing, too.
True, and that's where you get a lot of those issues with, like, the Tomb Raider Definitive, where it's literally...
In a lot of cases, I will pay for the convenience of having a game that I previously had on Xbox or 360 or anything and have it on the system I spend the most time on.
True. But see, when I come into that, like Red Dead Redemption went backwards compatible, it's no different, but they were offering it at $7 digital. Oh my god, Red Dead Redemption for $7? Yes. But if you would have come out and said this is a direct port and it's $60, it just plays on Xbox One, I would have been like, go fuck yourself, Rockstar. Not even close, buddy.
Yeah.
Flat out.
It's a great game, but it is not worth another $60.
No. And the thing is it was worth $60 when it came out, but if they're not changing anything, it's not. Tyler, have you thought of anything, or you just want to take a pass on that?
I mean, it's a really good point that Kevin brought up. I mean...
I feel like we're agreeing a lot.
And that's...
I disagree.
I disagree. I want nothing but shit in my game systems right now. Give me that.
I don't want anything new. In fact, I'd rather you take features out of the game.
Yeah.
Can't attack. Can't jump. I just want to walk through all my old games.
Actually, real quick, before we hit that half break that we do, that little where you get that good psychic type Pokemon monsters.
Everybody goes and gets a drink and a snack.
I just want to hit this with you guys real quick. What y'all think about D-Masters? Is this just? Am I just breaking this news to you?
Is that like the person that made the entire game of Destiny, like
a side scroller,
24-bit? Yeah,
yeah, and there's like a Halo
or 64-bit. Rather.
What do you think about that?
Ocarina of Time in Super NES
2.5D. Yeah, those are considered D-Masters or D-Makes.
I think it's a fun little thing.
That's super neat. Honestly, I think that's
but that's the thing is that honestly, in my opinion, if you were to give me Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, or let's say Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, and if you were like, you can play a version for your 3DS that gives you 3D, and that, we up-resed the textures, and the Ocarina of Time 3D is a good one. We'll get into it later. Or you can have the game, but it's D-made to feel like an SNES game. I would pay twice as much for the D-make.
Again, it's the matter of how much work they put into it.
That is clearly a project of passion.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, in general, if they're going to take the same amount of money and throw it at a up-res versus a D-res, because I think in order to make a game work in an older system, or on older, with just less graphics, less storage space, you really have to give it time and care. Even if you're just emulating the idea of it, you're obviously not releasing it on Super Nintendo, but in order to make these big cutscenes work and these big epic moments work, there's a lot of creative processing that has to go into making a D-make. I think we broke the story, guys. D-makes are the new thing.
I think I'd rather have a D-make.
I want to get a D-make of Pokemon Green in Japanese, but for my Atari. Let's go on break.
I want a cave painting of Zelda.
I want a caveman to hit me in the head with the rock before he makes the cave painting. We can't paint with a rock.
I want Mist.
No, you can paint with your brain, though.
I want Mist, but instead of solving puzzles, I just watch it happen.
If they came to me and they're like, there's a Mist
the movie.
There's a Mist. No. Hear me out, guys.
Missed the point.
Hear me out. If they were like, we're remaking Mist, I would say, I will pay you more money if you just come to my house and spritz me in the face every 5 hours. Missed me, senpai!
Missed the point.
Missed the point.
Music, please! Oh, boy.
Sorry, stop. I'm hungry.
Holy shit.
I need dinner. I'm starving.
I'm dizzy.
Hi, Dizzy. I'm Kevin.
Shit, that was fucking funny. What would that be like?
What would it be like?
A muffler on an asshole.
Your farts would be quiet.
I don't know. Welcome back. I'm really glad you guys got to hear that. So for the second half of our show,
Some good OC.
some fresh OC, asshole mufflers. I can't make that the title
It's a
of
new
this
game.
episode, but I really... Oh, God, would it be?
Yeah.
Asshole mufflers? So what is the... Okay, give me this real quick.
So
What's the pitch? What is it? First person, third person, RPG? What kind of... What
it
is
would
this?
be third person, open world, online capabilities.
Nice.
Microtransactions
Microtransactions for more mufflers?
for more mufflers,
Cosmetic?
but it would be skins.
Okay,
it would
good.
be
Yeah,
skins.
of
So it wouldn't
course.
be, you'd have to collect the platinum. You'd have to mine the platinum for catalytic converters.
Oh, shit.
And you could also choose to steal the caddies from other players' assholes. Yeah, and essentially what you would have to do is bring it to your foundry, melt it down, create a new one. You could just do a complete catback overhaul on your own butt. That way you can. That way you can promote your product.
I was checking. I couldn't help but notice, but your asshole muffler is hanging low. I got a shop up the corner.
So,
if you want to bring it in, I can
and
take a hammer through it or something.
Obviously, the cornerstone of your business would be...
You play Gran Turismo 7, they got some good asshole mufflers in that one now.
It would be direct market sales. So, you would have to host muffler parties, which sounds a lot more sinister than it actually is.
It's like a secret invite. It's like one of those deep, bars you have to
If
knock
you
on
don't
the door.
know, you don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
You gotta ask. You can't afford it.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. So let's get going into the second segment. We got about 20-ish games here. What we're going to do is we're going to list them off, give you some of that good
Rapid fire.
nostalgia music, and we're going to say if we believe that it was a good remaster, a good port, whatever it was, and if there's anything else to talk about.
We'll just do a thumbs up, thumbs down system.
You'll do a thumbs up, thumbs down system. All right,
It's
so...
going to be hard to convey, don't you think? I mean...
Just say thumbs up or thumbs down,
Yeah, and then you
didn't
at
think of
home,
that.
can all do the thumbs up or the
You can
thumbs
do
down.
it with us. We'll give you a little spot, like a little couple seconds, like Dora the Explorer.
Yeah. Blue's Clues. Did you find the clue? It's a shitty remaster.
You
Kevin,
can tell because it's got the blue seal of approval right on the front.
Nintendo seal of blue.
Little paw print.
Blue. Kevin, what's our first game here?
First game is Beyond Good and Evil HD.
Now, this was on gold.
So
Not
this
too long ago.
this was a game that they gave us for gold, and I just want to bring this up first. Beyond Good and Evil was a great game about cameras and stuff, widely regarded.
Pig.
Yeah, there's a pig. He was your uncle, and he goes taken to a slaughterhouse. It's very crazy. But what this game did is it up-resed natively to 720. This was a 360 arcade game. So we got it on gold for Xbox One and 360. But it was a game that came out on the original Xbox, and they up-resed it and released it on arcade for about $15. And honestly, when I think about this, I think that it starts to show where the industry was going. But at this point, they didn't have enough balls to charge full price. So have any of you guys played the original Beyond Good and Evil at all? Am I the only one who's played it here?
Yeah, I've not played it.
So Beyond Good and Evil, we'll just go this way. As a game, thumbs up. But as a remaster, I'm going to say I give it a pass because it was only $15.
Was it one of the earlier remasters, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it was still when you could look at a game and know, once again, we're getting into this whole semantics thing. Back in the day of 360 arcade games, if it was called blah 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 HD or blah 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 remastered, you knew it was a simple up-res, not a whole lot was changed, because back then the amount of content that you could put, I think, was capped at like 500 megabytes or something like that, so there wasn't a whole lot that they could do. Texture packs are very big in size. So
I'm going to defer my thumbs up to you.
Okay, so I'm going to say as a remaster, as a game, and as a package, thumbs up. You at home?
Great, good job.
Good job! Wow! All by yourself.
I knew you could do it.
Here's a game.
That was weird.
Here's a game. Yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. Here's a game that has just released. We actually talked about it in extent on episode 65, so if you really want to hear more about it, go listen to that episode. But BioShock, the collection. It's not called Remaster, it's called...
Pauly Shore's Biodome.
Yeah, Kevin, you played a little bit of this.
I did.
Tyler, you saw a little bit
Well,
of
I
this.
watched a little bit. But
So as a game, excellent. I just wrote a whole 1,500-word review about it for a client. It's a fantastic game. As a collection, let me just tell you guys what it includes overall. You tell me if you think it's good or bad. Has the first game, has additional content that was DLC that was never released. Unlockable director's commentary. It's been up-resed and also has some texture repacking, but at the same time there's more glitches than before. Bioshock 2 includes all the DLCs. I don't think there's director's commentary, and if there is, the extra content isn't as much as what was released originally. Bioshock Infinite is essentially the same game with all the DLC for $60. As a package, the 3 games are good. 2 is okay, in my opinion, but it's a simple texture upscale with some extra content. Do you think it justifies $60 at that point?
I think because the IP was so good originally and it includes 3 games, essentially.
I'm going to argue 4, because Burial at Sea Episode 1 and 2 those are the DLCs for Infinite. They run you about 6 to 7 hours to complete both of them, and they're a better Bioshock game than Bioshock 2.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's a no-brainer. It's so much content for a normal price.
It's that old Half-Life Orange Box
exactly
thing.
I mean, even if you broke it up, just break it up. It's 3 games.
Yes.
At $20 a piece.
Yes.
Game of the Year edition.
Yes.
And they
look nicer than they did originally.
They are up-resed.
Yeah. They haven't changed a whole lot as far as game mechanics. There's some games we'll get into later with that. But for me, sans the glitches and some of the weird things like the inability to record, that is something that I do want to take into consideration as we come into the new era of games. But for Bioshock, it was one of them Apple decisions. Like, I don't know why they did it, but I can't really dock them because no one's done it yet. I don't know where we fit in there. I think all games should have DVR capabilities.
Yeah, like in terms of the ethics of it, it's hard to pinpoint.
So I'll dock them, but I think as a package for the dollar amount, I think it's good.
But is a man not entitled to the recording of his own games?
No, says everybody at 2K. It belongs to us.
No, says Microsoft at the... Wait. No, Microsoft would say yes to that. Never mind.
Yes, says YouTube. Give us all the content that we can just...
As long as it's advertiser friendly.
Mm-hmm. We got another game. It's almost a series at this point, and it's something we talked a whole lot of crap on in the first 30 seconds or 30 minutes of our show. Tyler, what do we got here?
Resident Evil. Resident Evil.
Tyler,
okay.
Good job.
So I'm learning to read today, everyone. And
good.
I appreciate
He's
you.
up-resing.
He's up-resing his abilities.
Remastering
Tyler, Game of the Year edition.
Now with reading capabilities.
The reading DLC.
This was I was not allowed to play these games as a kid, and by not getting into the ground level, I did not want to play 2, 3, 4, 5.
So we have a very good opportunity here. Let me explain to you what they've done with Resident Evil. Capcom's gone off the rails with these remasters. What confuses me is here's what they've released within the past calendar year, as far as to maybe Resident Evil 1 came a little bit earlier, but within the last calendar year, for the PS4 and Xbox One, or at least for the Xbox One specifically, they have retail re-released Resident Evil 1 and 0 in a double pack, Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5, and Resident Evil 6. All barely up-reses. I mean, they're ports, but these are disc-based copies. Resident Evil 1 and 2, or Resident Evil 0 and 1 are a $20 package. Resident Evil 4 is a $20 package. And as far as I understand, 5 and 6 are also $20 packages. I'm okay with this at a price level.
That sounds like...
I'm not okay with it as a company just doing that.
A $20 port for a game you already own.
That's on every... Well, when you get to like Resident Evil 4, it's on every system. Resident Evil 1 and 0 I can be okay with because you didn't see anything since GameCube. Or maybe a little bit after, they did some stuff for PS2, if I remember right, but you haven't seen a 0 or 1 remaster since then. But 4, 5, and 6, 4 has been on every console since it came out. 5 and 6 both just came out within the past 5 years. Is it necessary? No. Will it sell? Yes. Does it hurt the industry? I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, we talked about this earlier, but what do you think Capcom's doing? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? It's a dying brand. Honestly, Capcom is a dying company.
Well, and Resident Evil is obviously it's so long in the tooth at this point. It's inevitably going to jump the shark at some point. The idea behind it is they just announced 7. So
thank you for bringing it up.
The lead up to it, I guess I can see as a good excuse, but at the same time, again, my total opinion on this concept as a whole is the work put into it worth the money.
Now, the thing that I want to bring up is it questions the reason why they're making these remasters. If you ever just Google Resident Evil 2 remaster, you will see that there is an insane amount of want for Resident Evil 2 to be remastered. It's a thing that fans have been clamoring for years. And Capcom goes, okay, releases Resident Evil 1, and people go, oh, they might be testing the waters. They do 0. Okay, they might be testing the waters. They don't do 3 at all. 3 has never been remastered, as far as I understand. Maybe for the GameCube, I believe it was. But Nemesis was never remastered. They skip over, go to 4, 5, and 6. The fans want a remaster of 2. Now, are they just putting this out because they have the copies or the ports? I mean, I feel like they would have, unless it's multiple studios, I imagine it is. I feel like a lot more of this work could have gone into, instead of porting 4 games or 3 games that everyone's already played, they could have put that into Resident Evil 2, got more money, and then also could have put that towards building up Resident Evil 7 as a new game.
I was going to say, the proof will be in the pudding when 7 comes out. See if they put the work into it that it deserves.
Anybody have anything else to say about Resident Evil?
Nope.
We got another game here, and this is more of a collection, but there had to be some sort of up-resing or native resolution adjustment for these. It's called a Rare Replay. I'm going to throw the Banjo-Kazooie noise here. The Banjo-Kazooie, yeah, that's good.
This is another one of those situations where I think it comes down to convenience.
Yeah, because a lot of these games is about, $30 for $30 when it originally came out. That's a great deal. Rare Replay gets A+ in my book, thumbs up, absolutely. Mm-hmm. You talked on 64 about Cobra Triangle.
Rattlesnake Square.
Exactly. Rattlesnake and Roll. That's actually another game.
Okay.
When you played them, did you feel like it was exactly how you remembered it?
Absolutely.
Do you feel like they had changed a lot?
They didn't change anything.
Exactly. So now the question is we have games like Resident Evil that are up-res. Yeah, they didn't change it drastically.
There was the rewind.
Yeah, there's the rewind, but that's an overall function. In Rare Replay, you can rewind your gameplay, which is
super helpful.
You could go so far as to say you could replay it.
Oh, yeah. I think maybe that's almost tongue-in-cheek if they're trying to do that.
The door's over there.
Yeah, you can leave again now.
All right. See you guys.
All right. No, Kevin, come back.
No.
We need you.
Nope.
Oh, Kevin. Nope. All right, so
Too bad.
Rare Replay, it was... well, we lost an episode host. Do you have any friends that want to be on the show, Tyler?
You guys are my only friends.
Hey guys, what are you doing? Record a podcast? It's me, Bevan.
Oh, what's up, Bevan?
Hey.
This is Bevan. This is Kevin's twin brother sister.
I identify as an Apache helicopter.
And that's what we'll refer to him from now on. Rare Replay gives me thumbs up. Thumbs up. I think it's more of a collection, but all the remastering that they did is great. Tyler's just absolutely losing it over there. Modern Warfare Remastered coming up soon.
I don't want to speculate on whether or not this is going to be good.
Well, so what they've done is they have, much like the Halo Anniversary, which we'll get into, they have remastered and completely redone the textures for some, if not most, of the multiplayer maps. Tyler really trying to hold it together. It's okay if you want to let it go. The whole entire single player has been redone.
Are they bringing back Rust?
Are they bringing back Rust?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they remaster Rust.
Is it a map?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Rust is like 1v1 me on Rust, nerd. That's like the one thing everyone says on Twitter. It's the map where it's like kind of small and it's got it's like not a foundry.
It's like a GoldenEye map.
Yeah, it's very much a GoldenEye map.
Oh.
But
I
so
like
the thing that's mainly about this is we have a giant thing like Call of Duty. And they're only charging $40. As a base, just without knowing anything about it, do you guys think that's a good get? $40 for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, or Call of Duty Modern Warfare?
Why?
Because, I mean, well, at this point, Call of Duty 4 came out early 360. It's about the same thing as remastering BioShock.
I think Call of Duty comes out with enough games.
Yeah, well, true.
That's what I'm getting at.
So I think it's more of a fan grab than anything else. A reason to get people in. Because Infinite Warfare and Advanced Warfare and all that, I'm not trying to get into this. I'm sure we'll do a Call of Duty episode at some point. But yeah, Kevin, I know, right? But I think as a standalone package, if we disregard what the insane cycle of Call of Duty, I think that it's a decent thing. They're not charging full price. They've actually remastered stuff like they did with Halo Anniversary. Not them, but like similar to Halo Anniversary.
Call of Duty is like a Scooby-Doo haunted merry-go-round. Some Scooby-Doo bullshit. Yeah, I feel you. Thumbs up, thumbs down. it's to be seen.
It's a wavy hand.
It's to be seen. Yeah.
See, I'm not like I want to throw a thumbs down here. It just doesn't seem like it was necessary. Is the story good?
Right. Yes.
It is.
Call of Duty 4 is one of my favorites. It's one I played all in high school, and I guess maybe it comes back to nostalgia. Like, I played it incessantly as much as I played Halo 2 almost. So for me, it makes sense. But for somebody who doesn't play it, maybe guess not.
Well, what does it tell you about me?
So there you go.
Everything.
Here's a game that
You don't say.
they need to make a sequel to this game. And this is something that came out for 360. We're talking about Bully Scholarship Edition. Bully Scholarship Edition. It was a port.
It was interesting to see Rockstar do something different.
Yeah, Bully as a game is amazing.
Yeah.
Just want to put that out there.
I have
But if it's
no
just a
idea
port-
what this is.
Well, you said when we were talking about pre-show that you need to play. You've heard very much that you should play it.
Imagine if the entire scope of Grand Theft Auto was a all-boys boarding school.
But
That sounds horrible.
no.
Go
but,
on.
But not with Grand Theft. But all of the systems of Grand Theft Auto have been changed to. You're not looking for hookers. You're looking to get kisses from your student or your fellow students. You know, you're not a bully. You're not a menace. In fact, you're somebody who goes to classes. So the mini games you would have had in Grand Theft Auto have been turned into classroom mini games. There's a lot of the same mechanics within it, but it's an open world experience that's kind of echoes Grand Theft Auto in the way the mission set structure is. But it doesn't. I mean, it's not school shooter the game like they were trying to say it was.
No, it's fun.
It's very, very good. It's teen rated too. I highly recommend you play it if
It's
you
a good
haven't. And Scholarship Edition, honestly, I could not tell you the difference. Maybe they just up-resed it a teeny bit and made sure the frames ran better. Because this was a PS2 game that was Scholarship Edition was on 360 and PS3. I like this game a lot, and as a standalone thing, I give it a thumbs up. But they charge $60 for it, so I'm going to give it a thumbs down.
That sounds like a wavy hand.
Yeah.
Is there any TV jumping, or is it just a bunch of young kids in a school?
Yeah, there's no waifus or husbandos.
There's no crazy shadows.
Bears.
There's no bears. There's no grocery store and TVs.
No.
Yeah, you can't really make friends either. Like, they're already there. They're already
You
friends.
can't get inside the TV. Let's go on to this next one. Tyler, what do we have?
That's the Misspelled Chronicles of Riddick, the Dark Athena.
It's called The Chronicles of Riddick Dark Athena.
Oh,
So Chronicles of Riddick Dark Athena. Kevin, you played a little bit of this, right?
Woo, lad. Yeah, I did.
wait a minute. I think I've seen this before.
Chronicles of Riddick is the answer to everybody who says that movie-based tie-in games aren't good. It's the same thing. I bring it up all the time when everyone says that movie games aren't good. It's like, yeah, what about GoldenEye and Chronicles of Riddick? Yeah, sorry that was your favorite game of all time, but movie tie-ins are bad. Chronicles of Riddick is widely... the first one was called what? Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay?
Yep.
Dark Athena. The reason I bring this up is what they did was they took Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay, which was an Xbox title.
Okay.
They remastered it, up-resed it, made it look nice, did some texture remapping, kind of the same thing you see in BioShock The Collection, right? But then on top of it, they added the sequel
And they made it even more diesel.
called BioShock Dark Rapture. No, that's the wrong word. It's Chronicles of Riddick Dark Athena. But the fact is, they could have sold Escape from Butcher Bay as its own thing, but they're like, we're just going to throw the whole remaster in with the sequel. So that gives a whole thumbs up in my opinion.
Yep.
That sounds like two thumbs.
One of the best.
Way
One of the
up.
best stealth games I've ever played.
And in my opinion, I think this is the best way to do it. If you're not going to put too much work into remastering or remaking the game as a whole, and you're just kind of moving code around, you should include it with something else. Give me a reason to purchase it, essentially.
That sounds like a really good reason to me, if nothing else.
So that was a 361, and I give that a thumbs up for sure. Everyone else gives it a thumbs up. I'm sure you at home are kind of giving it a thumbs up, maybe
Is
right
that
now.
a thumb? Or. Oh.
Oh, sorry, I walked it at the wrong time.
You're flicking me off.
Well, you know what? And that jovial kind of, well, not jovial, that juvenile kind of humor is something that is very apparent in this next remaster, which was called Conker's Bad Fur Day Live and Reloaded.
Like for N64?
Well, the original game was Conker's Bad Fur Day for N64. This was the original Xbox
That
re-release.
sounds bad. Like, the title just does not.
It has
make
that
me-
whole Matrix Revolutions kind of bullshit to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing that I wanted to bring up with Conker's Bad Fur Day. Did anyone play it besides me?
I did. I played
I played the
multiplayer
original,
a lot.
yeah.
Okay, so the multiplayer, there's two things about Live and Reloaded. It gave us the multiplayer for N64, but on Xbox Live. Fantastic. Great, right?
Good choice.
Sweet. It's like getting a golden Gemini remaster with Xbox Live. But then here's the thing that was weird.
Man, there's $1 billion.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You didn't play the story, but I'll just give you a very easy example.
I've watched the whole thing front to back.
Okay, so here's the thing. In Conker's Bad Fur Day for
I'm friends with
N64,
Josh.
there was a sunflower in a level.
Uh-huh.
And you jumped on her giant bosom. This was a sunflower that had actual breasts in an N64 game. Okay?
Right. This was an M-rated game.
Now, Live and Reloaded is an M-rated game, but for some reason, they put a bikini on the sunflower.
Why?
Exactly the question. Now is a question based off of this. Do you think that a remaster is that for me that's a no-no. You don't go back and censor a game or change a game. If you're having it as the same game, you don't go back and change specific things to fit with modern times. It's the kind of thing like you don't change the past to make it PC. It was what it was when it was.
Especially if that entire game was kind of
The whole point.
Based on the fact that it's irreverent and you know.
Here's an even bigger thing. The Great Mighty Pooh, that whole boss battle. I am the Great Mighty Pooh, and I'm going to fling my shit at you. In Live and Reloaded, all the swearing has been censored. Actually, I don't think it was an it was kind of it's hard to picture if you never played it, but you were fighting this giant.
But there was the bouncing sing-along.
Yeah, it was a sing-along, and now it's been censored out and kind of like blurred out. And whenever he swears, the boss swears, there's just a censor thing. I don't know if it was actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure Live and Reloaded was a teen-based. It was teen released versus the M-rated original. What do you guys think about that as a in general?
Why would you? What? That's not.
In my opinion, big thumbs down, which sucks because the multiplayer was great to play with friends. But when you go back to relive the nostalgia, it's like they're lying to you.
Oh, it's like it's an interesting example among the ones that we've discussed already, definitely. But I don't agree with changing the whole thing simply, like you said, to fit more modern sensibilities.
You know what this sounds like? D-Master.
A D-Master? In my opinion, yeah. We're cutting close to the hour mark here, so what we're going to do is we're just going to run through these next ones. It's okay.
So sorry.
We're going to run through these next ones. Just give them an up, a down, and say what they did. So, this next one we got...
Day of the Tentacle.
Day of the Tentacle. What they did was they took the original point and click, redid all of the artwork, made it available for PS4, Xbox... not Xbox, PS4 and PC. The game hasn't been... It came out like 96, I believe. So we're talking about like a 15-year, redid all the textures. Yeah, in my opinion, for $20,
that sounds great.
That's a good thumbs up.
I think because of the genre, it's a
point
thumbs up.
too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a thumbs up because it's another one of those convenience-based ones.
So once again, this is reassuring the fact that if you're taking an old franchise or an old genre and pushing it back into the public light, if you do it right, there's a good reason to just make a simple port.
Especially an old IP that is very beloved and hasn't been strung out.
Speaking of old IPs that are beloved but have been strung out, Devil May Cry HD Collection. Tyler.
Oh, let me add this one. Okay.
Real quick, Tyler, tell us what it is.
What it is?
Did they port it? Did they upres it? What did they do?
It is an upres, and it is, barely. It is still super cringy, and it is still Devil May Cry. This is exactly, word for word, scene by scene, the exact same game.
Okay.
With a texture update. That's what that is. That's what that says. It says HD Collection.
But rock the game.
All three of them.
All three of them?
Mm-hmm.
What did they charge for? Do you remember?
I think this was $20.
Okay, for me...
I think I bought it for $13, honestly.
For me, I give that a thumbs up.
That's a thumbs up for me. That's like three of them. Well, the second one sucked.
Yeah.
Two.
Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, the price is right.
I'm not putting the Price is Right theme song in there. I'm sorry. It's okay. There's too much music already going on right now.
It's okay.
I got this one right here. DuckTales Remastered.
Ooh.
DuckTales Remastered was an NES game, and when they did the remake for Xbox One, and I believe it was on Xbox 360. Yeah, it was on 360. It was completely overhauled because it was all hand-drawn textures this time instead of the polygons or the pixels. Hand-drawn textures. They kept the same. They kept the same engines, but they added things like dialogue and cutscenes that a lot of fans of the original were not fans of. So, real quick, do you think taking the same game story, adding additional dialogue, cutscenes, and making more modern stuff, is that good or bad?
Well, it's a remaster. That's a different game.
Yeah. Okay, so it's more of a remake at that point.
Well, yeah.
And once again, that was called DuckTales Remastered.
By definition, it's a remaster. So if you're expecting anything less,
Well, but that's the thing is that they added dialogue, they added characters talking that didn't talk before, they added cutscenes. Is it a remaster? Technically, at that point, it's a remake, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And here's where we get into the semantics of titling.
Right.
As a game, I give it a thumbs up as the package, but once again, you got to decide what you're doing.
How much was it?
20. No, 15.
15
was what it was. It was on the Xbox Live Arcade, so it's good.
You happy with that?
I'm good with it. Thumbs up.
All right, there you go.
Cool.
Here's the next one coming up right now.
Duke 3D World.
Yeah, it's. I think I miswrote it there. It's a Duke 3D World Tour. It's 20th anniversary. Here's the thing about Duke Nukem 3D. It was great. They re-released it once before on 360. Just quick brag, I was the first person in the world to get all the achievements. I'm pretty sure I've said that before.
Second episode in a row you said that.
But anyways, what they're doing with Duke Nukem 3D World Tour is they're adding a whole other episode that was never before released. Duke 3D had 3 or 4 episodes originally. Now there's a 5th episode. In my opinion, this is an anniversary, but it's also a remaster of the original game. This gets a giant thumbs up because they've added brand new content, much like the BioShock collection. You guys feel that is a great addition. That's a great reason to buy something.
Price?
20.
Cost, content, it's got everything.
So thumbs up on Duke 3D World. Duke 3D World Tour that comes out in mid-October. If you want to check that out. Here's a big one, but we're going to be quick about it. Halo Anniversary. I'm talking about 1 and then 2. What you had was a completely redone game, but at any point you could press the back button and look at the old game. You had all the multiplayer maps, or most of the multiplayer maps, remastered completely. So this is the same game, but with brand new 2015 textures. What's up?
I'm a big fan of that idea. I think just from a historical perspective, that is a very, very cool concept. What was the price on this one again?
Halo Anniversary, when it first dropped, it was Halo CE, Combat Evolved, like Anniversary.
Yep.
60. And then when they dropped Halo 2 Anniversary, it was included in the Master Chief Collection, which was $60, but it also had Halo 1 Anniversary, Halo 2 Anniversary, Halo 3, and Halo 4.
I did like the Master Chief Collection. If it were a standalone, I probably wouldn't have bought it.
Okay, I agree completely. Are you there, Tyler?
I'm right there.
Master Chief Collection was $60 and it had way more games.
I know I bought the Master Chief Collection.
But as a game, as a remaster, excellent. The price was wrong when you originally released it.
I really think again, I want to reiterate, that is such a cool concept, being able to switch between the two.
Let's bring it into a little bit of Japanese, the land of the rising sun. We got Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5.
Now that's the updated versions of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. There's just more content. There's more.
So what they did is they took
the
original Kingdom Hearts game, but they gave you the final mix, which was the Japanese kind of Game of the Year edition.
Okay.
But then also under Kingdom Hearts 1.5, it wasn't just the first game final mix. You also had 2 other games that were remastered. Like with the one coming up, Kingdom Hearts 2.8 or whatever the hell, it has Birth by Sleep completely redone.
Wow.
Or not completely redone, but I think up-res to the point where it looks really good on PS4. So this is the kind of thing that we're pulling into. If you're going to remaster a game, you might as well throw extra stuff in there to give you a little bit more bang for the buck.
Absolutely.
Kingdom Hearts.
That's really the way to do it.
That gets us a thumbs up.
Yep.
I'm 100% thumbs up on that.
The next one is Final Fantasy X with the entire dialogue and soundtrack replaced with Titus's laugh.
That was a great remaster. I think they made it way better. It's free, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It's a free thing. That gives me... I'm going to give that a thumb sideways.
It only improves the game.
Titus's annoying laugh is the only reason I get out of bed in the morning. And it's the reason I stay in bed as long as I can.
I'll give that a different digit, not a thumb.
Yeah, I'll give that a big old middle flanger.
Big old gold middle finger.
Let's touch on this one real quick. Kevin, what do we got?
That is the Last of Us Remastered.
Ooh, okay, I got a bone to pick with Last of Us Remastered. Y'all motherfuckers didn't even remaster the game. You just ported it to PS4 and put the last little DLC and still charged $60 2 years after the game came out.
Ladder Simulator.
What did Video Game Donkey say? It's the world's first third-person strangler. I have gripes with Last of Us as a game. I'm not a huge fan of Last of Us. I like the game, but I don't think it's a masterpiece, and I can get flack for that. I'm okay with it. Uncharted's a better game, in my opinion, from Naughty Dog. But this is where we get into these Tomb Raider Definitive Editions. These 2 years later, we're going to re-release it, but not do anything, charge you the same price, and add a singular $15 DLC. None that doesn't fly in my stuff.
Not worth.
Nuh-uh. And I'm really disappointed from Sony because you guys had put so much money into this, and you released something that was crazy good. I know it's not Sony making.
Shame on you.
You released something crazy good, which we'll talk about at the very end, Last of Us could have gotten more. But then again, there was no reason to reboot it. If you want to make a port of it, just put it on there for $30. You're not charging $60 for... And once again, this is at the top of PS4's launch lineup when they had absolutely nothing.
Right.
So I think they're trying to fill shelves. That gets a big thumbs down from me.
Oh, agree.
Kevin?
Yeah.
I'm going to try and brush through this as quickly as possible. The next one is The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D.
So
Good
this up-res HD 3D.
It was called Ocarina of Time 3D. Let's not pull any punches. There was no remaster, no remake, no reboot, nothing listed, no HD and whatever. It was just called Ocarina of Time 3D.
And it was the exact same game
Yes.
with a little bit of...
Oh no, see,
There's only one thing added?
well here's the thing is that they changed how the water temple is done.
That's what I'm getting at.
and they
And we
changed
talked about that.
Yeah, and they changed some of the controls, but also they completely retextured the game.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Exactly. So that, in my opinion, fantastic. Same thing with the Majora's Mask.
I'm going to say it again, and I hate to repeat myself, but this is another one of those convenience things.
It is a very much convenience thing, and here's where it gets even more convenienced. Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD. Notice that they're not, it's just called HD. Those games, all they did was, it's hard to say, because Wind Waker, they changed the fetch quest in the end to get the Triforce, which was so great. I'm so glad they got rid of that. But they up-resed it, they made it look a little prettier. The HD Wind Waker is a good HD remaster. It was a new console and they charged $60. I wish they hadn't charged $60, maybe $45 would have done me. But Twilight Princess HD, nah. You can't do that. They just base up-resed it, kind of changed some of the controls around with Wii U, and that's it. And
So it's a port.
It's essentially a port at that point. And here's the problem: where you have something called Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time 3D, Majora's Mask. You're now getting some sort of expectancy of what it's going to be. HD Wind Waker drops. You're like, oh, they're still changing things, making it easier for gamers. And then you go and you put you're like, I trust Nintendo. Twilight Princess HD, and you could have bought it on the Wii.
Well, it's like Meatloaf says, 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
Yeah, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. But as full $40 titles for Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, I'm fine with that because they're cheaper. They're on 3DS. But Wind Waker HD, nah. Kevin, what's up?
I was just going to introduce the next one.
Which one is that, Kevin?
That is Pokemon Heart Gold.
Pokemon is a great example in this series because you take the original Heart Gold, or you take the original Gold and Silver on the Game Boy Color, and then you look at Heart Gold and Soul Silver. They're the same game, but what they've done is they've adapted what's the word I'm looking for? The whole style and whole tone is now in tune with what modern Pokemon is supposed to be. Like Black and White and X and Y look the same as Heart Gold does. So what they've done is they've taken the story, they've adopted all the same mechanics, but they've put a brand new, fresh coat of paint, not up-res, not texture fixed. They've changed the style of the game. How do we feel about that?
You're talking about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, not Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Oh, Heart Gold. Well, no, they didn't change all this stuff to Heart Gold.
They did.
They did?
They did. They updated it to be in line with Diamond and Pearl.
Okay.
And it was still the 2D flat on
Okay, it wasn't until Omega Sapphire and Ruby or whatever.
that we updated to the 3D.
Okay, so then let's talk on that, because I honestly have not played Heart Gold.
I have.
All right, so thank you for correcting me. This is why we have more than one person on the show. So let's talk Omega Sapphire, Alpha Ruby. No,
You
reverse
got it.
that. What do we think about taking a game that was once something, as we remember, as a 2D game, and then moving it into the 2.5, 3D kind of realm?
I'm going to throw out my one opinion.
Do it.
I have Alpha Sapphire. I love it. I think it's awesome. I think it's a really cool idea.
Did you play Sapphire originally?
I did not.
Okay, so it is successful in bringing an audience that has not played it originally.
Right.
You played both,
I
Tyler?
did. I played pretty much every single game.
Now, if someone were to give you a 3DS and someone to give you a Game Boy Color or a Game Boy Advance and say, pick one, you have to play through all of it, what would you pick?
Between Ruby and Sapphire or Omega and Alpha?
Yeah.
I would pick Ruby and Sapphire.
So the original, not the remake.
Only because I don't like current Pokemon, that's for sure.
All right, perfect.
So the Pokedex has been updated to contain all of the generations up to now. And that's part of it for me. But when you're looking at it, it's the exact same map. It is one for one every single step of the way.
Yeah.
So it's if you wanted to, it's
Well, and here's where we come into the whole argument of we wanted content to be added in order to make it worthwhile.
there was content added. There was a lot of things added to Omega and Alpha.
But in this sense, we wanted in my opinion, if I'm playing a Pokemon a specific generation, I don't want to see ice cream Pokemon in my goddamn Alpha Sapphire. So there is a catch-22 in that situation. But let's just say, in general, the Pokemon, I'll give thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
At least for bringing in the old audiences.
I mean, it's I'm
You're a
not
shaky hand on this?
I'm not going to
It's
complain about
Pokemon.
it. It's Pokemon. I want
Okay,
to play it.
real quick, I just want to bring this one up. Tyler, what is it?
Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, Tom Clancy, HD, Rainbow Siege.
That's perfect.
Of
That's exactly what it's called. That's exactly what it should be called.
Superman.
So Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD, it was a very weird remaster. They call it HD, but it was actually a remake. They remade all the things, changed the controls, changed the whole entire soundtrack. It was not good. It was not good.
This was the Limbo, was that 5?
No. This was an Xbox 360 arcade release. It was just called Tony Hawk Pro Skater HD. It was touted as a remaster of the original, but they, like I said, they changed the whole soundtrack. They changed the trick system. They added things in, but the problem was it wasn't done with care. And although there was additional content, it did not play well. And when you have a game like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater that completely relies on the systems of the gameplay, you can't go mess around with that stuff, especially not with a nostalgic classic that people love.
Content does not always equal quality.
Correct. So I'm going to give that a big thumbs down.
And
Sorry.
I'm going to defer my vote to you.
Once again, thumbs down. And this is the last one. Here is the epitome of what I think a reboot, remake, remaster should be.
I agree wholeheartedly on this one.
Tyler, why don't you give us the stinger? What is this game?
So
This is the PS4 version of
the Ratchet and the Clank.
Ratchet and Clank for PS4. Now, here's the thing. I have some gripes with this, purely because I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
You have gripes with it because of the way they did the cutscenes.
Yeah, they used the movie cutscenes, but at the same point, they're like, it's Ratchet and Clank. And I'm like, is it a remake? Is it a reboot? They just called it Ratchet and Clank. No subtitle.
Right. That's why I was so excited for it.
But what
I
did we
thought it was
get?
Another one.
What did we get, Tyler?
We got the same story. The very first original story of Ratchet and Clank. With a little bit of some of this, a little bit of some of the old stuff that we knew. It was a good blending of new ideas and old.
It's almost like they took the original game, threw it into a 2016 time-traveling blender, and then put it into a original, when did the game come out? Early 2000s blender. Mm-hmm. They blended them together, mixed them, and kind of shuffled it around, took about half the cup out, and said, this is the game. Like, it has equal parts old, equal parts new, mixed together perfectly. The thing is I consider this a reboot.
I would as well, because it's not the same.
But every critic, every reviewer, every marketing, they touted it as a retelling, a remaster. I didn't see the words remaster used, but it was never like, they never said remake, reboot. They just said it's a new entry, and that's where we get into semantics, because here you have a game that is the epitome of what a remaster or remake or reboot should be, and they didn't even call it an anniversary, HD, nothing. I mean, it coincided with the movie release, but...
I think it's simultaneously sinister and not at all sinister.
Yeah, because the content's
they're not
good.
giving you anything that... Or, like, there was nothing over-promised that was under-delivered.
True.
But at the same time, it was also, like, everybody's, like that John Travolta meme, like, standing around.
Yeah, like, what are we doing? So, Tyler, you can go on it for about 30 seconds. We're running a little bit late now into the show, about 10 minutes over, but it's okay. It is our first themed episode.
You want to give me a 10 words on how you feel?
Not particularly, because I love Ratchet far too much for that.
Yeah.
So Ratchet, this iteration of Ratchet combined all the good things from the original and all of its sequels, excluding the future.
Yeah.
It had the level up systems of the weapons. It had all of the old weapons, though. So you had the Pyrocitor and the glove bot of Doom, and that was cool. And you're like, oh my god!
All the things you remembered, and all the things that new stuff too.
Yeah, and to like give themselves wiggle room.
Yeah.
They made someone else tell the story as a.
They changed the narrative how it was being told.
That's it, the narrative.
Omniscient narrator.
So that is the and I just want to give a real quick shout out to the Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Because what they did is they remastered and we're gonna have a whole lot of problems with this episode of just saying the same words over again. They redid all the textures. What they did is they took some of the mechanics from Gears of War 3 and put them into Gears of War 1 without telling us. Which pissed off some people for the multiplayer, but it made the original Gears of War feel like how I remembered it. If you go back and you play Gears of War now for like 360, you're like, oh, it's kind of clunky. But what they did is they just took the updated mechanics, the control schemes, blended it in, and made it Gears of War 1, but with the experience they've had from making the whole entire series.
Is it better?
Yeah.
Oh,
Ultimate Edition is a better. And once again, there it is. So what did we learn here today, guys? That words, subtitles, or subtext, HD, anniversary, it all doesn't matter at all.
No.
Agreed.
What really matters is the content that developers provide and kind of the feedback that they take from their audience. Because these are all supposed to be for fans, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to say it again for the final time. It's how far your money goes in terms of the content that's being provided.
Yeah. I completely agree with you, Kevin. What's up, Tyler?
You don't take something that did well and rebrand it as something without the fans in mind.
Yeah.
You just
well,
don't do
I mean, you can lie all you want. I mean, a lot of these are half cash grabs, but
sure,
truly, the reason they're making these is to celebrate the game. So that's why sometimes with like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater HD, you didn't celebrate it, you changed it. You're not celebrating it, you're changing the game to fundamental value.
And that's where we get to you did it right or you did it wrong.
So altogether, I think the moral of the story today is that when you see on the shelf a remaster, an HD, an anniversary, don't buy it. Go on YouTube real quick, look at gameplay, look at what's inside the box. Don't vote with your wallet, vote with your mind, guys.
Vote with your conscience.
Vote. Is a man not entitled to the dollars in his pocket?
No, says the man.
No, says everybody want to take my money.
Behind the counter at Walmart.
Yeah, well, or GameStop. GameSpot.
GameSpot.
We're running long.
EB,
all right.
DZ.
Funko Land.
So, you can reach us at a variety of places. Let me just list those off real quick. Once again, the Twitter is at SuperGamecast64. My personal Twitter is at SGC64Matt.
I am at gingerbeard_man, beer like the beverage.
I am at Teacher Malio.
You can email us at sgc64mail@gmail.com.
And check out our new YouTube channel.
That is, just type in Super Gamecast 64. We have about 550 subscribers, so that's pretty awesome. You can see some of my old stuff from like way back in the day when I was 15 if you really want to, but I suggest you don't do that. We put up a Rocket League Rumble video. Mm-hmm. We did a video for our Recore in 10 Words segment, and we also post all of our episodes on the YouTube now. If you want, rate us on iTunes, subscribe, and if you review, you'll get a shout out from our review robot 2K123000 who hasn't been around in a while. Yeah, we rebooted him and everything. Yeah. Anything else, guys, as far as where they can reach us before we get into our game fact of the night?
No, I think that's it. I mean, you could send me mail. I'm not going to give you my address, but you could just figure it out.
Yeah, once again, if you just put it in the mailbox with post stamp, a mystery mailman will come.
I actually heard about some guy who sent something from New Zealand, and literally he sent it to Ireland, and he literally just described the human being to whom he was sending and approximately where they lived, and it got there.
It's crazy how sometimes you can put all of the computer systems and everything to the side and just basic human interaction will get what you want done.
That was a real logical mailman.
So, A, stick it to your mom, and B, Kevin, do you have a fun game fact to close us out with?
I do have a fun game fact. So you know how car companies are messing around with the idea of a driverless car.
Smart cars.
Obviously, in order to create that, you need to test it. Mm-hmm. Rather than testing it by running over real pedestrians, they are using the game engine and the game from Grand Theft Auto to teach these cars how to drive without a driver.
Now, the real question is, are we inventing evil cars? Find out next time.
Sarah Connor, if you're out there, tune in next time.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time for episode 67, which who knows what it'll be. Stick it to your mother.